Hey there, friends. It's Miss Christy. Tonight is Spy Night at Awana. And for Spy Night, you need to wear a disguise, or you can make me a note in a secret code and send it to me. If you don't want to send it to me, you can just take a picture. And if you don't come and see me, you can take a picture of you wearing your disguise and send that to through text message, and I will get that and give you your extra points for the week, okay? So for Spy Night tonight, I'm going to be giving you some hot on the trail mix. And so that's just regular trail mix. It's nothing spicy. And so you're going to get some trail mix, and you're also going to get some invisible ink markers to write your own secret codes with your family and with your friends. So I'm going to give you those in your goodie bag this week if you check in with me, okay? And you don't need to complete your Bible verse or your section to actually get the goodie bag. I really want you to be working on things, and if you don't get it this week, that's okay. You can try again next week, or you can try later on in the week if you want to contact me. So, but I just need you to at least check in with me, and when you check in, you do get that goodie bag, okay? All right, so tonight I wanted to tell you a story of spies, and throughout the Bible there have been lots of stories of spies, both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. King Saul and King David, they spied on each other in the Old Testament. The religious leaders in the New Testament spied on Jesus to see if they could catch him doing something wrong and get him in trouble. Also, in the Old Testament, Moses sent spies into the land of Canaan to see who was there and what was there, what kind of resources they had and what kind of people were there. And so he sent spies into the land of Canaan to see what was there. But tonight, I'm going to read to you from Joshua chapter 2 about the most famous spy story in the Bible. And that spy story is about, like I said, about Joshua sending spies into Jericho. So that's our story for tonight. So I'm reading to you from Joshua chapter 2. And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, "Go and view the land, even Jericho." And they went and they came to a harlot's house named Rahab, and they lodged there. They stayed there with her. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country." So the king of Jericho knew that they were there. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, "Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which have entered into thine house, for they be come to search out all the country." And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, "There came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were. And it came to pass about the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men where they went, I do not know. Pursued after them quickly, for you shall overtake them." But she had brought them up to the roof of the house where she hid them, with the stalks of flax. Flax is a tall plant, and you can easily hide somebody under them if you had a lot. Flax has a lot of fibers. It's torn apart and used for making clothing, okay? So she hid them amongst the stalks of flax, which she laid in order upon her roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. So they had these men go out and try to find the 2 spies, because Rahab had said they had left the gates before they shut the gates for the night. And so there's these men out looking for the spies, but they're not going to find them because she actually hid them on her roof under the stalks of flax. And she said unto the men, and before they were laid down, she came up to them upon the roof. And she said to the men, "I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all your inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you, when you came out of Egypt, and what you did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side of Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. So already the people of the land of Canaan, including the city of Jericho, have heard these stories of the Israelites coming from Egypt, and their God has parted the Red Sea for them, and their God took care of the Egyptians for them, and their God is behind them and helping them come through and destroy the cities in their path, because this is the promised land that God has given to the land of Israel. And so the people of Jericho, it says, are faint with terror. They are scared of the Israelites that are coming because they know that they have a very strong and powerful God. And so verse 11 starts up again and says, "As soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. Now therefore I pray you, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have showed you kindness, that you will also show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token. And you will save alive my father, my mother, and my brethren, and my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death." And so Rahab is saying, please, since I'm helping you, can you please save my family, save me and my family from the destruction that's coming to Jericho? Because she knows if they're there, that very soon their Lord will help them take over Jericho, the city. And the men answered her, "Our life for yours. If ye utter not this our business, and it shall be, when the Lord hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with thee." And she let them down by a cord through the window. So she had a rope, a cord is a rope, and she let it down through the window. For her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. So her house was right there on the outer layer of the wall, and she was able to let them down by a rope on the outside of the wall to help them escape. And she said unto them, "Get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you, and hide yourselves there for 3 days until the pursuers be returned, and afterward may you go on your way." And so she told them which way to go, in addition to helping them get out of the city of Jericho. And remember, those guys were out looking for them. And she said after about 3 days, they should be returning. So wait there about 3 days in the mountains until they pass, and then you can go back to your people. And the men said unto her, "We will be blameless of this thine oath which thou hast made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which thou didst let us down by, and thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brethren and all thy father's household home unto thee. And it shall be that whosoever shall go out of these doors of thy house unto the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. And whosoever shall be with thee in thy house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. And if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thine oath which thou hast made us swear." And she said, "According to your words, so be it." And she sent them away, and they departed. And she bound the scarlet line in the window. And they went and came into the mountain, and abode there 3 days, until the pursuers were returned. And the pursuers sought them throughout all the way, but found them not. So the 2 men returned, and descended from the mountain, and passed over, and came unto Joshua the son of Nun, and told him all the things that befell him. And they said unto Joshua, "Truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us." So they went back, and the 2 spies were able to go back to Joshua and tell him all that had happened, including what had happened with Rahab, helping them to hide them from the king and to help them get out of the city. And they also made a promise to Rahab. They said, "Listen, if you don't say a word about us and what happened here, and you let us escape, and all is well, then when we come into your city, we will spare the lives of you and your family as long as they are in your house. But they have to be in your house. And you need to put this rope. It was a red rope. And they said, if you take this red rope and put it in your window, we will know which house is yours. And we will spread the word and we will keep your family safe. And because you have helped us. And so that's what Rahab did. When they come to the city of Jericho, they had to walk. The Lord told them to walk around the city, around the walls, and they did for 7 days. And at the end of that 7 days, they walked around 7 times and they blew their horn. And when they blew their horn, the walls of Jericho came down. Joshua and his men, the rest of the Israelites, go into Jericho and they kill everyone and destroy everything in Jericho, except for the one house that had Rahab and her family, and she had her rope up in the window to say that was her house and that was her, and she was the one who had helped the 2 spies. Now, if you look over, that all happens between chapters 3, 4, and 5. And if you read over in chapter 6, it tells you, let me see if I can find it. Yes, in Joshua chapter 6, up here in verse 22, it says, they're in the city of Jericho, and Joshua had said to the 2 men that had spied out in the country, go into the harlot's house and bring out thence the woman, and all that she hath, as ye swear unto her. And the young men that were spies went in, brought out Rahab, and her father, and her mother, and her brethren, and all that she had, and they brought out all of her kindred, and left them without the camp of Israel. And then they burned the city with fire, and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and iron they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had, and she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent out to spy on Jericho. And so Rahab and her family were saved in this invasion of Jericho because she helped those spies. So that is the most famous spy story in the Bible, about Rahab hiding the spies of the Israelites inside of Jericho and then letting them go. So that was our story for tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to read through again the whole thing, it's Joshua chapter 2 through chapter 7. Or I'm sorry, if you read through chapter 2 through 6, it will tell you everything that happened about Jericho and Rahab and the spies again. Okay? All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that little story. And also, I wanted to tell you about our trivia question. So last week's trivia question was from Matthew chapter 4. I asked you to name 2 places that the group of people that were following Jesus were from. There was a list of places that these people were from. It included Galilee, Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and beyond Jordan, and Syria. So there were 6 different places listed where all these multitude of people were following Jesus from. Okay? And so good job if you got that. If you didn't, here is this week's trivia question, and you can get a few extra points for those gift cards that are coming up here at the end of the semester. Okay? Tonight, our trivia question is coming to you again from Matthew. And this time it comes to you from Matthew chapter 1. Matthew chapter 1, okay? In Matthew chapter 1, it mentions Rahab again in the New Testament. Rahab was a very important person, and this is going to tell you why. Not only was she in the spy story way back in the Old Testament story of Joshua, in the book of Joshua, but also Rahab and her family had a very important part in God's plan. And you're going to see what I mean when you read through all of Matthew 1 and you find the answer to this question. Who was Rahab's son? What was the name of Rahab's son? If you're reading the King James Version, they have changed her name, her spelling just a little bit. Her name is spelled in the new or in the King James Version, I'm sorry, Rachab. Rachab. So they spell it a little bit differently, but it's still pronounced Rahab. Okay, so who is Rahab's son, and why was that important? Why is this whole chapter of Matthew 1 important, and why does it make Rahab important? So to God. So we're going to see what that answer is. Next week I'll tell you the answer, and I hope you get it, okay? Speaking of next week is Olympic night. Next week is Olympic night. We were supposed to have the 2020 Olympics this year, but we didn't. But that's okay. I still want you to have wear USA colors for Olympic night. So that's what you're supposed to do next week. Wear some red, white, and blue. Wear something patriotic. Send me a picture if I don't see you. But that's next week. Next week, okay? This week, remember, is Spy Night. So make sure you send me a picture of you in disguise, or you can send me a picture of your secret code if you don't give it to me in person, okay? All right, I'll be at the pavilion tonight at 6:30 waiting on all you to come and see me. And y'all have a great week. Know that I'm praying for you and I love you, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.